Hi everyone, Alana Corso, Managing Broker, co-founding partner of Dwell Realtors, coming to you this week to give you a mid-year market update. Back when I did my market forecast for the 2020 market back in December and in early January, I don't think that anyone could forecast that we would have the year that we've had thus far. With a global pandemic, essentially shutting many economies and our lives down throughout the United States and the world. It's had an interesting effect on our market, and I wanted to give you kind of a mid-year check-in of how things are going here on our mid-peninsula real estate market. So the biggest question I get asked is, how are prices? What's going on? So when you look at my statistics of everything that, the 6 core cities that I track every quarter, prices are actually holding in there. They're flat. Some cities are up this quarter. Some are a little bit lower, but there's no major indication up or down, which, from an economic standpoint, it is good for homeowners that you're maintaining value. Sellers, you're getting the prices you want. Buyers, it is what it is. There's no, everyone thinks there's going to be deals to be had. I haven't really seen any crazy deals to be had. Another indicator that we look at is how many sales have been occurring. So Q2 is usually one of our busiest quarters of the years for number of sales, and that is where we are seeing a decline. There just weren't as many homes that sold in Q2, but that's no surprise. You have to remember that we weren't allowed to even show owner-occupied homes for a month and a half, and so with that, you couldn't sell any of those houses because they couldn't be seen, and that affected the numbers. What I am seeing is typically when I'm super busy in the spring, it's pushed now so that I'm actually really busy in the summer. And I think a lot of that Q2 activity is being pushed to Q3. We typically are busy in the fall, so it'll be interesting to see how the summer trend goes, if it continues just this busyness of what we're seeing out there in terms of sales activity. Another indicator, when you look at kind of this infographic that I put together of the 6 core cities, is it shows days on market is really low. And this is not an accurate number. So typically days on market, is telling us how quickly homes are selling and, getting into contract. And there has to be a caveat here, because you have to remember that the MLS halted all days on market counts from the middle of March through the middle of May. And so it may show that, a certain city's average days on market was 5, which you're like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievably fast. That's not accurate. When it wasn't accruing in the system, you have to instead look at when was their actual on market day, when did it go into contract, and really do your count from then. And I can tell you it's much longer than what these numbers are showing. As the market has opened up and we were able to show, owner-occupied houses in addition to the vacant homes, we are seeing that the days on market, I'd say on average, is probably closer to 14 days, 2 weeks. Some houses are getting scooped up with preemptive offers really quick. If they're, in phenomenal locations and really well, updated, the buyers are, continuing to really go after those houses strongly. But I'd say that these numbers that are being shown are actually not indicative and are very short, and you really need to dig down and look at the actual days in the MLS, and that's something I can help you look at and discern. So another question I'm getting is, why is the real estate market, actually fairly healthy despite the fact that we're in the middle of a global pandemic? And, I'm seeing it anecdotally for a few reasons. So interest rates are really low still. And so it makes homes, all of these buyers that were in the queue to purchase, money, it's cheap to borrow. So it's still affordable for them to buy these, high dollar price homes here on the mid-peninsula. And we're seeing that, some of these rates we're seeing, almost like historical lows, which again can make a really big difference if you're really sensitive to what your monthly payment is going to be. Another thing I'm seeing is with the global pandemic and it really not seeming to, give us much of a break, is many people are indefinitely working from home and planning on their children distance learning from home as well. And so I've been getting a lot of phone calls for folks that they want bigger homes. And they need, maybe they've always done fine with their 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but they're like, shoot, we need another bedroom or, office space. And to be able to have one room that's dedicated to, people working and doing schoolwork quietly. And so I'm seeing that trend. So you see market activity with people, as a move-up buyer finding a larger space. And then you also have people where their companies have said that they will be working at home, forever, and, that they're going to be getting rid of their office space. And so those people might be saying, I don't actually need to be in this specific city anymore, in San Carlos or San Mateo, Redwood City. And gosh, we've always really wanted to live in Tahoe. So we're going to sell here and go buy there. Or hearing about a few families that are considering, and are moving out of state for those reasons, be closer to family in different areas. It's always, everybody's got their own personal reason while they're doing that. But it is kind of interesting to see why we're seeing this activity. The Bay Area, people are like, are we going to have a mass exodus of people leaving the Bay Area? And, is it going to make the real estate market plummet because there'll be all this inventory? You have to remember that the Bay Area is a phenomenal place to live. We have fabulous weather, beautiful sights, tons of things to do when we're not in the middle of a global pandemic. And you have a lot of companies that are headquartered here and are going to stay headquartered here for a very long time. And you're not always going to be working from home. Yes, this will change how I think corporate America is. However, and there'll be probably some really good, cool changes about work flexibility and workspaces. But the Bay Area is a desirable place. It will continue to be a desirable place to live. And, if there's a mass exodus, I don't see that. But, I can always eat my words. But that's, kind of my insight into the market and what's going on. No fire sales on anything, everything kind of holding strong. There is a cadence to everything. If you want the statistics for your particular neighborhood and your house, I'm happy to give you a market analysis and tell you how things are going for your specific neighborhood. Because those estimates aren't always right, and whatever Redfin is telling you, sometimes you need an actual person like myself to really dig down and give you the real numbers. So I'm happy to do that anytime. I hope everybody is safe and healthy, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.